Let's go. Coach, you ready?
Ready, Coach. Let's go, Coach Belasco.
I think, of all the titles I've had in my life, that one may make me smile the most. So thank you for that. How you doing? You driving Miss Angela and the kids crazy yet?
Yeah, I've got two of my kids at home, and Miss Angela, my wife, and I feel sorry for them. They're getting overcoached right now, so I think they are excited that I'm in this class right now, getting to coach somebody else. So appreciative of the time, and thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, it's great. Your son Reed is a senior at Marshall, and we've got
Mhm.
probably 40% of our students are seniors. Really sucks for them. This is their last semester. Their social lives have been
Mhm.
disrupted. You're sent home. They didn't know what was happening. Commencement in the traditional way
Mhm.
it happened. What are you telling your son? How are you coaching him, and that you can share with
Mhm.
our students?
Yeah, all the students are out there. I hope everybody's staying healthy, staying safe. Really appreciate what you're doing and all the sacrifices we're all making. Staying at home, staying the social distancing, and it does. It's a tough time, and it's a tough time. I think for everybody, for students, for educators, for coaches, because we're not together, and it's hard not to be together in this thing. But the one thing that I'm telling Reed and I'm telling my two kids at home is I think we're all routine-based creatures, especially myself as a coach. I know you, David, as an educator, and I think we function our best when we get in routine and have goals that we set. I've told Reed, I said, hey, every day I want you to try to get better in one thing: mind, body, and soul. And I'm going to do the same. And let's set out a plan for each day, and let's not just get through it. Let's dominate it. Part of being a Trojan for all of us is to give our absolute best effort at all times. We chose the Trojan way. Each and every student here, each and every educator, each and every coach. We're different. I've always believed that. We're not civilians. We're Trojans, and our way, I think, is the best way. Is we give our absolute best effort at all times, no matter what it is, whether it's academically, whether it's socially, whether it's athletically, whether it's spiritually. And that's what every day should be like. Just because we're going through a little bit of adversity right now doesn't change who we are and what we're about. And that's the discipline that we've got to have with each and every day. So he hears that message daily. I FaceTime him every day, making sure he's on his Zoom classes, making sure he's at it. Proud of him for what he's doing, and proud of my other two children that are here with me. Proud of our players. I know you got one of them in your class with Raylan in this class, and I'm proud of each and every student that's here. This is a hard time. I know we'll be back together soon. We will get through this, and we'll be back together soon. It'll be a great day.
How are you coaching a team of 100 student athletes, however many you have,
Yeah.
100? Your students are all scattered. Everybody's in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
How are you communicating with them? Is it through the position coaches? How do
Mm-hmm.
you have full team meetings?
Yeah, I believe in these situations, and anytime that you're a leader, it's about organization, delegation, and communication. Organizing, having a weekly plan, having a daily plan, and being able to delegate the authority out to those people as far as position coaches, whether it's our academic resources, whether it's our rehab, whether it's strength and conditioning. So what we've done is, we have 110 players, and what we're doing right now is, one, we had a team meeting, just like you're having a team meeting right here. We had a team meeting on Monday at 5 o'clock, and we went through, basically what the week looks like, the new information that's out there. As the world changed, we may have to change our plan a little bit, and we've been able to communicate that with our guys. The next thing is we're delegating authority to our other leaders and being able to have them reach out. We had 30 surgeries as of August 1st of last year. So Russ Romano, our medical trainer, and his staff are reaching out to each and every one of our kids for a wellness check and making sure they're doing okay. Our strength and conditioning coach, Aaron Osmith, and his 5-person staff reach out and consult. They've broken up our entire team. They're consulting with our team about how they can get better strength and conditioning. We've sent them bands. We've sent them medicine ball. We've sent them jump rope so they can continue to condition. Our position coaches, we get 4 hours a week to be able to meet with our players, and we're doing position meetings with their position coaches so their mind stays strong and they continue to progress as a student athlete. And then I'm trying to reach out to guys individually. Obviously, we have 188 souls in the building. You get as many as you can a day to be able to reach out to everybody. But I think that delegation of authority to within our organization, as well as communication, is key during this time. And, we went into this thing saying we had two priorities. One was the health and safety of our student athletes, and two, to provide them the services that they need to be able to continue to thrive. And that's even academically. We're still using our academic services and our tutoring to be able to get through this time so our student athletes, can finish strong this semester. And I challenge everybody in this room. This is a great opportunity for all of us to raise our GPA high. I hope we don't use that pass, no pass. I hope we're all making A's and B's and getting that GPA really high. So, that's our goal right now as a staff. And I'm very grateful for the people that surround me because they're doing a great job in communication with their players.
Excellent. Well, our class centers on mental framework and performance mindset, both individually and across organizations. Do you have an articulated philosophy, personal philosophy, or operating principles by which you live your life? And has it changed over time?
Yeah, I've in my job, in my profession, I believe coaching is just like education. And I've always believed that in coaching or in education, it's about relationships and about the trust that's built as a coach. And I've always thought there are four things that go into building trust as a leader. I think the number one thing when you're talking about a player trusting his coach or an employee trusting his supervisor in that leadership role, the first thing is they got to trust your character. There can't be a relationship unless they trust you as a person and your character as a person. I've also thought that, to be able to gain the trust of a player, they have to understand that you can develop them, that you have the availability to make sure that you can improve them. We're all educators, and we want to be able to have that availability that they know we can take them from point A to point B, and when they leave us, they're the best version of themselves and a master of their craft in that craft. The third thing, as far as trust goes, I've always believed that you got to have a care or concern for people. I've always thought the greatest gift you can give somebody is your time. So I'm not all about the X's and O's or win the games. It's also about sitting down with a guy and seeing what's going on in his life, how his parents are doing, how his academics are doing. Man, he just broke up with his girlfriend. Hey, let's work through that situation. There's at this age, it's hard, but some of you are probably dealing with the first round of death that you've experienced in your family, maybe with a grandparent or a parent if that happens, and being able to work through that at this age, so it's about showing care and concern as a leader also. And then finally, the last one for me to build trust, and this is the hardest one in leadership or education, being a coach, is just being brutally honest. And I've always felt that you gain respect by being brutally honest with the people that are around you. You may not always like what I have to say, but you always know it's going to be the truth. And I'm telling you the truth because I want you to be the best version of yourself. So to be able to say, hey, you're doing this really, really good. You're really strong in this area, but this is your area of growth over here. And I've got enough courage to tell you because I want you to be the best version of yourself.
I've watched you do that with your players over the last few years, and I actually would take out the brutal. You can be honest, and it's not brutally honest. Actually, Brady Brown would say clarity is kindness, and honesty. And Ben has told me this. The best thing you can do for people is if they're not performing, is give them really honest feedback. Because if you're not happy in that position, let's help you find a position that you will be happy in and that you can flourish in. So I think you're honest. I don't think there's any brutality at all.
Well, I've always thought one of my favorite sayings, and my dad taught me this, is always remember, to be coached is to be loved. To be able to take the time and try to tell you something so you can improve means I love you. It's not to be critical of you. It's so you can improve yourself or become a master of your craft. And so I've always just believed to be coached is be loved. Our players, I literally will say, hey, what does it mean to be coached? And they all say, to be loved, coach. We get it. We've heard you say it 1,000 times.
Well, that's good. If you've got common values and everyone knows it, and the mission's clear, the vision's clear, the principles are clear.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about adversity. The students completed an assignment on success and failure and how they relate to each other, what failure means, how it reflects on self-esteem, is their identity tied to failure. You have a very high-profile job that's subject to intense scrutiny and criticism, from people who care deeply about USC and the football team, and people who don't have any standing, but they've got a microphone these days. Has the noise in the press and social media, among alumni circles, bothered you? I mean, you are human.
It's part of the job. And I guess as you go more through, this is my 26th year of coaching. I started college football when I was 22, coaching at Duke University, and I've been doing it 26 years, and you get better with it with age. I've always believed, don't believe in opinions, believe in yourself and what you stand for and the job that you're going to do. And the beauty of being in the arena that we're in at USC, it is the best of the best. I waited 20 years to have the opportunity to be in this chair, in this place. 8 wins at a lot of schools, they're building statues of the coach. They're celebrating. Here, that's not good enough, and that's what I love about it, is that we have the highest standards of excellence at this university. And the expectations, that's what we all want in our profession, is to be hopefully to get a chance in your lifetime to be on the top of the mountain, to be the best of the best, and to have to live up to those standards. I mean, I wake up and it's a challenge every day, and you got to love that challenge. You got to love that, hey, there's a standard that has been set that you got to live up to. It's got to be part of you. And I love that. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Now, the beauty about being in that chair is everybody gets their opinion. It's hard to be perfect. And you can't worry about others' opinion. You can't you can't have fear to fail. You're going to learn from as many failures as you do the successes that you have. And I promise you, when you go through that adversity, it's the greatest memories you will ever have in your life. I've never been at a lower point than 1-3 in the 2016 season. And everybody's saying, gosh, he may be the worst coach in the history of college football. But I knew the men that I had around me. I knew how special they were. I believed in what we were doing against all popular opinion. And being able to win the next 9 games and win a Rose Bowl and to fight through that adversity with a group of men that you truly loved, man, you come out on the other end and you're like, wow, that was the greatest experience. I wouldn't change a thing. The fight is what makes it great. The competition is what makes it great. Not being afraid to fail is what makes it great. So it's all part of the job, and I love it. The higher the heat, the funner it is.
It's funny because in most professions, we do teach students. And when Kobe was here and Ben and Gary Vaynerchuk, they'd say, like, I love the process. I love practice. Yeah. I love getting better every day. Well, so we try and teach students to focus on the process, focus on the journey, not the destination. Well, you're in a results business. You can have the most amazing process, most amazing practices, but you are graded based upon wins and losses. So it's different. I guess CEOs are graded on profit and things like that, but it's complicated because you really do have to produce. And the only thing that really matters at big times college football is wins and losses. So we're excited for the year. I've got a couple questions. Carla, Carla, can you unmute? Where's Carla? Can we find her? I want her to ask the question as opposed to us asking her question. Where's Carla? Raise your hand, Carla. Hold on. Can you
Yeah.
There you are.
Maybe?
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for giving us part of your time this afternoon. So my question was aligning from what you just were saying on how you can set standards. So that was part of my question. So how do you ensure to continue to grow, even though sometimes you might find difficult to do it? Or how do how do you start believing in yourself? What would be a turning point?
Yeah, great question. I've always believed that no matter where you are in your journey, I'm in the 26th year of my coaching career. I've always felt that the biggest part of it is always trying to get better at what you do. Even in a time period like this, I'm reaching out to other coaches, other brothers in the coaching fraternity, and being able to garner information from them and try to grow and get better. That's the beauty of any job that we have there's really no perfection out there. We're always striving to get better. I love the game of golf. I love watching Tiger Woods, getting to play. At one point, I was the best of the best, maybe in the history of the game. It's a game that you have to continue to try to fight to improve. And I look at that, whether it's business, whether it's football, athletics, whatever it is, the biggest thing for me is I never want to stay stagnant. I never want to be comfortable. I like being uncomfortable, because when I'm uncomfortable, that means I'm growing within my profession. I'm always trying to push myself outside that comfort zone. And I try to tell our players that, man, don't focus on your strengths. Focus on your areas of growth. I don't like to call them weaknesses. I hate that word. There's areas of growth that each and one of us have. To be able to identify those, all right, push ourselves to be uncomfortable, and push ourselves to grow in that area, man, that's what's great. That's part of that process that David is talking about. And that's why even my dad, who's 48 years in the profession, NFL, college coach, he and I still talk 3 times a week. And we still grow together, just talking father to son, coach to coach. And he's always telling me, don't get stagnant. Don't get comfortable. Keep getting better. Never live in that comfort zone. Keep fighting to get better. So I hope that answered your question.
Excellent. We got a question from Danny Taras. You had a lot of new coaches and turnover in your coaches. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, hello?
We hear you. Go ahead.
Hey, Danny.
Coach, thank you for your time first. Second of all, it seems like you guys have made a lot of home run hires in terms of your coaching staff this offseason. And my question to you was, how do you go about your process in hiring these coaches? And what about it has made it seem like you guys have so many successful hires this offseason? And how has the process changed?
Yeah, if you remember what I went back to in the leadership model and what builds trust, it's the same questions that I asked myself with those individuals. And it's, are they men of character? Can they develop 18-year-olds to make them better in every phase of their life? Do they have enough courage to be able to spend time with each individual and care for them as people? Because we preach family so much. Just like we have the Trojan family, which I think is different than anywhere else, any other university in the world. We have our football family, and being able to show the care and concern, and then just being men that are willing to be honest with our players. Obviously, there's some other skill sets that you need. Being a great recruiter is one. The ability to know that the hours are long and it is a commitment, and are you willing to make that commitment to the process? Those are things that go into it. But I always have relied on those 4 questions. Are they men of character? Do they bring the skill set to develop? Do they have a genuine care for the men that are around them? And are they willing to be honest at all times with those individuals around them? If you combine that with a great recruiter, then you got a really good person, and it's somebody that will help pull you along.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good questions. Good questions. We promised we'd get you out by 6:30. I want to ask you one final one, and we'll have you back when life returns to normal. And we
Hey, Dave, can I just make one observation about the coach for everybody?
Absolutely, Ben.
So one thing all of you will need in your life is a coach or a mentor. And I just want you to look at the energy that Coach Helton brings. Who would not want to coach this guy? Who would not want this guy as your coach? But just think about the positive energy he's bringing and how you can bring that positive energy to the people you're seeking to have help you. And I just love, I mean, obviously this guy's got a killer personality. That's why he's the coach of the USC football team. But that kind of enthusiasm is incredibly infectious and an incredible success trait. So I just wanted to make the observation. Coach, you're amazing, but I also think you're showing these guys, what success looks like.
Well, Ben, I really appreciate you saying that, guys. I've always thought, do what you love. I've told each one of my children, my two sons may not end up in football. I told them, I said, hey, go do what you love. My daughter, go do what you love each and every day. And I love what I do. And anytime you're in a leadership position, there are no bad days. I've never thought you don't get the opportunity as a leader of an organization to have a bad day. Now, when I get in the car by myself, I may turn the music up loud and scream out the window in frustration. But when you're around the people that you're trying to educate and coach, they deserve your best at all times. And that's the responsibility of being in a leadership position or a coaching position. So, Ben, I really appreciate you saying that.
That's Ben. We're gonna go deeper into that when you talk about how students can improve the odds going out into the business world, getting jobs, getting internships. We'll turn to that. Coach, I've seen you, under pretty hard circumstances. I've seen you with a lot of recruits and student athletes in the good seasons and in the challenging seasons, and you haven't wavered. So having, Galen in the room and other people that have come in, or Raylan Goforth in the class and other recruits, it's really cool to watch them come in as, high school seniors, then freshmen, then graduate. You do a great job with the young guys, and you're a wonderful representative for the university. And we're behind you. We're all in. We want to see a great season. And if there's anything that we can do collectively, including the students, I don't think I've told them this. I've missed one game in 32 seasons, guys. I'm all in, and you have to be there. Whether we win, lose, you have to be there. We have to fill the stands, because that's the only home field advantage there is having fans that are cheering it. And the team deserves it. The kids deserve it. The student athletes deserve it. So, Coach, get ready. Get them ready. Can't wait to see you in person. Tell Miss Angela I said hello. And
definitely will.
Talking to you soon on recruiting.
Well, I thank you for this opportunity. And, guys, please stay healthy and safe out there. And I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes, and I believe it to this day. We don't got to do things. We get to do things. We get to be Trojans. We get to be a part of this Trojan family. You get to be in this class right now getting better. We get to wake up and breathe another day, live life to the fullest, take care of each other, and get to know one another, because relationships are key. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. To make the most of your time here at USC, because they're the most special people in the world. Appreciate this opportunity, Coach Belasco. Thank you, Trojan family, for the time, and y'all have a great rest of class. Right on.
Right on, Coach. Thanks, Woody.